Live and recording. Hello, everybody. How are we doing? Welcome back to another episode of Living the Nine. Today, we come to you with a heavy heart. It'll be a very different show today. No music, no games, no topic, or there will be a topic, but nothing for people to really comment on. We just wanted to tell you our stance and what we feel. So, for us, being a youth organization that loves to be in front of people who may not be able to otherwise be involved in golf. We're in a lot of inner cities, and we feel like we would do a disservice to our participants in our community if we did not speak on this, because this directly affects them. So what we're going to do is talk about what's going on in the nations as far as the protesting for police brutality, tell you our stance as an organization, and then give you our opinions on it. So to tell us our stance as an organization, Natalie will read off a statement that they sent out. So Natalie, whenever you're ready.
Yeah, so this statement is from First Tee International. So our headquarters, our kind of governing body, you could say. Our CEO, Greg McLaughlin, if you remember, he was on our show when we first started doing it. This is his statement. I'm sorry if I get jumbled. I'm bad at reading live, but I'll get through it the best I can. So from Greg, says a note from our CEO. Society bears the marks of prejudice and injustice even today. The events over the last week are disturbing and heartbreaking on so many levels. I wish we could shield today's young people from it, and yet it's still all around them. As a community of caring adults who come together in support of the next generation, it's our responsibility to ensure kids build the confidence to find their voice, their footing, and stand up for what is right, even when it's hard. Our character is a compass, and it is the source of our words, thoughts, and actions. Strong character stands against injustice. As we grieve the events happening around us, we have to lead the next generation to a higher ground. The first T, as Corey kind of touched base on, we teach golf. That's first and foremost, that's what a lot of people see us as, but we do a lot more than that. We're not just taking people onto a course and teaching them the ins and outs of the game. Everything we do here is for everyone. We want to kind of change the standard that golf is only for, people that might just be able to afford a membership at a country club. We want to show that golf is for everybody. The types of kids that we have come through our program are anywhere from, and there's nothing wrong with the country club families. That is great. If that's your way of life, we are happy to welcome you in. But we, like Corey said, we welcome in the inner city kids as well, who maybe have never experienced anything like golf in their life. But we're not just teaching the game. Our 9 core values, whether it's responsibility, respect, honesty, judgment, you have to apply those in everything that you do. And that doesn't matter what your skin color is. It doesn't matter what your class status is, how much money your family makes, anything like that. Everything that's happening right now, as someone who obviously is white, it can be hard to it can be easy to ignore it and move on with your life. We can't do that anymore. And I know I've been guilty of it in the past. This is affecting everyone. If it affects just people that are African American or Black, it affects everybody. You can ignore it and try to ignore it all you want, but until we find that justice and that freedom for everybody on this earth, it's never going to be equal for everybody. I feel like I could say a lot more, and I do, and I want to use my voice to support the people that are facing these injustices and the people who are struggling to get through life on a daily basis. But I don't want to be a person that stomps down and tries to take the time away from people whose voices need to be heard more. So I think it's the best responsibility, or my biggest responsibility right now, is to offer that support and to give what I can. But what I think is best right now is for you to hear from Corey and Ethan. So I'm going to step aside and let you two speak.
Thank you, Natalie. That was very well said, and we appreciate your thoughts and support during these times. And I, unfortunately, I don't have much to say. I'm just like everybody out there, just frustrated and sad and hurt with everything going on. It's just getting old. You know what I mean? It's just getting old. It seems like this every year something happens to somebody somewhere. Yeah, protests, and then kind of gets out the news cycle. And then we go back to our daily lives, which is understandable. That's no blame on anybody. It's just the rat race that we live in. But then nothing happens. And it's like something's got to give. Something eventually has to change. And it's just like where and when, you know. You think about our historical protests, peaceful protests led by lions in the game like Martin Luther King, and how he helped create effective, true change. And then you think of the maybe not so peaceful protesters like Malcolm X, who also called for change and got change. And there's a fine line between peace and, I guess, the riots. I'm saying, well, I'm not supporting the riots by any means. I think if anything to be changed, it will have to come through a peaceful protest and just using your voice, nonviolence. I lean strongly on the side of Dr. Martin Luther King. But yeah, something has to change, and it needs to be now, not wait for another year, something else go wrong, and because eventually it's just going to keep getting worse and worse and worse, and then before we know it, things are really going to be bad. So I'm just taking the time to really think, like, what can I do to affect true change now? Not next year, not a couple years from now. What can I truly do? How can I lend my voice to affect change that can be permanent? And there is no permanent solution. I mean, I have thoughts, everybody has thoughts and ideas, but it has to be on a national level, and there has to be just some kind of understanding what people go through, especially like what minorities go through when it comes to not just police brutality, but discrimination, profiling, all those things. And yeah, it's tough, very tough conversation. But again, the sooner we put it out of our mind, the sooner we just go back to the status quo and just go back to normal. So again, something's got to give. And now it's a great time to reflect, listen, ask questions on what is the best possible way to achieve a positive outcome.
Yeah, man, it's very tough. It's very tough. And I think in my mind, what it boils down to is there's a lack of understanding. You know, there's so much you just don't understand from both sides, you know. Before you, I was telling, the staff members yesterday, before you judge, try to understand, you know, the pain that what's going on. You know, I am in fear. I am an African-American male. I have a Caucasian wife, a white wife. We have mixed children. We have 2 beautiful babies. I fear, not for our safety in a sense, but I fear that we're coming to a point to where we have to draw a line in the sand, you know, and you're with this or you're with that. You know, again, my wife is Caucasian. She, you know, her mom is Caucasian, her dad is, and my mom is African-American Black. My dad is, my sister's is, and to draw a line would split. It would split, you know? So I fear for that. So what I'm gonna try to do is give everyone a little bit of understanding on both sides from my point of view. And the first thing is that the rioting that's going on right now, right? So I told my staff members that what you have to do, if you don't understand what's going on and you're passing judgment, I want you to do just one thing with me, right? Whether it be a niece, a daughter, a son, a nephew, someone young, right? Imagine that they are in distress. There's been times where they've been hurt or, you know, fell and hurt their knee and they thought it was the end all say all. They thought everything was going bad for them. So imagine that moment, right? And imagine in that moment that someone was causing that, right? So after you realize someone's causing that, now think about the idea that you can do nothing about it. And then after that, while your daughter or son or whoever it is out in distress or crying out, they can't do nothing about it, and then think nothing happened to the person doing it, right? They get to walk around like nothing happened. And then think about it happening over and over again to the same niece and nephew, right? At that moment, when you look at your young ones, look into their eyes, there should be a fire, right? Like the parental in you would say, I would do anything to protect my babies, you know? And if it means burning things down, that's what it means. Now, I'm not telling you any compassion, I condone violence, but you got to understand that there's a difference between understanding and condoning. I don't condone, but I understand, you know? I understand that pain. If I look at my daughter and my son, and I think of the time where it scared me how scared they were, and that someone's causing it, I'd want to set this world on fire, right? That's just me speaking. So before you judge, think about that, right? And now on the other side, African American people, I want you to know that not every cop is bad. You know what I mean? That they're just not. If you look at every cop that is bad, then you are basically becoming that in which you fight against. It's like saying every black person that wears a hood is a criminal. You know what I mean? Every congregating of African Americans are they're conspiring to commit a crime, and that's not the case. You know, look at the situation for what it is. We do have allies on the force. A person told me a long time ago, right, who I really care about, that said something to me that didn't have the heart to tell them that it was one of the most offensive things they could ever say. You know, they said, Corey, I'm African, I'm Caucasian, but I want you to know that I love African American people because I don't see color, right? That is one of the most offensive things you can say to a person of color, because how could you ever see injustice? If you don't see color, how could you ever see injustice? You know, you would think that the police were just hurting people and killing people who were criminals. You know, that they were never ever never following somebody or putting somebody in a category even without committing a crime. You know, so seeing color is not a bad thing. Seeing color opens your eyes to what could be going on right in front of your face that you would otherwise overlook. This world right now is a very, very scary place, right? But it's not lost. If we can get to the point where we understand each other more, or try to understand each other more, then that's when true change will come. You know, it's a really big lack of communication, you know, and how to get people on the same page. Police officers, you know, I do think that they should go through a training on how to de-escalate. If they don't go, I'm not a cop, on how to de-escalate a situation without using force, you know, and make that across the board, not just for some. You know, the idea of seeing someone walking down the hood and they look suspicious, and your first reaction is to lean towards force because you're nervous. That's a bad trait to have as a cop. You know, I love the world we live in. I have been very blessed and fortunate, whether it be financially, economically, spiritually. But I do feel the pain that's going on, and it hurts my heart so bad because my time will pass soon enough, but my kids have a long life to lead, and I'd hate to leave knowing that this is still going on. It scares me, people. It scares me very, very bad in ways in which you can't imagine. I told you a long time ago, or not long time ago, a couple episodes ago, that I'm living in the land of love and not of fear anymore. You know, I still very much live in the land of love. I think this world needs it more than ever. But fear has slowly came into play, and I hate that. I hate that. I hate that. People, don't be blind to what's going on around you, but also don't go into a situation with the negative thought. Go in with open mind. Let the situation tell you how it's going to go. Don't go in it with any kind of notion that something's going to be something that it's not. I love this world. I love my communities that I'm involved in, and I want everybody to prosper as much as possible. And by all means, I think we need everyone. Black, white, man, woman, brown, everyone across the board we need. So final thing to reiterate, man, don't judge, try to understand. Now, Natalie, you said something that there's something that you wanted to say.
Yeah, just one final thing as we wrapped up. I wanted to make sure I elaborated more for anybody that you might not be a protester and you might not be someone that has a lot of money to give to an organization. And we're not saying that you have to go on the front lines, but the way you can do something to help is to just listen, to reach out to people. Maybe you don't feel comfortable just reaching out to someone and saying, I'm here to help, but just do it. I texted Corey and Ethan yesterday. I've texted some other people and commented on Instagram, and I feel like I don't know if that's the right thing to do, but it's a start. And so if you don't know where to get that start, if you don't have the funds to donate it and you don't want to, go down to downtown and protest, I'm not telling you to do one thing or another. I wanted to give you my email because I want you to reach out to us. We have always, the First Tee has been here to help people with any issues they have. We're more than golf. We're more than that game. So I'm going to put my email in the comments that if you want to know how to help, if you need help, if you need something, reach out to me. I'm not saying I'm going to be the person that's going to have all the answers for you, but we'll get them and I will help you, direct you in the way that you need to go.
All right. So again, this is a very short show. We wanted to just get it out there where we stand, and that we love you all. Be safe, prosper, and come together. Everybody, live the 9.